Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Muriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Mima Akasha Zibiri, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. Grateful for peace, for good things, and for trials.
Yes, they're all the parts of it.
Because yesterday my reflection was on trials and how we never do appreciate that they are part of life to form what we finally become in life. You know, and well, at that point we're thinking, no, that's all that can happen. And then when we passed it, we just forget about the learning curve.
Yes.
So remember,
forget so easily, you know, just move on. God has done it and you just move on. How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine. Today is the day I wish I could be at I could be in 3 different places at the same time. At work, at home with my sick daughter, and at my son's school, because there's an event he had been talking about and asking that I go. And
is that going?
No, not in town. So I'm the only parent. So I
From here, you're going there, right?
No, it's all at the same time.
Oh, sugar.
In fact, they also tried for those parents who cannot be there. So they gave us like a Zoom link. I can't even be there because I'm here right now. So, yes. So it was like, it was like, it's okay, Mom, it's okay. But I really felt bad because he had told me ahead of time, like, remember. And then,
oh, yeah. How are you doing, Virginia?
All right. Just
a certificate on faith. Yeah. I thought you say OCLA or something. But
no, this is just for the mentorship, program, and I think after this season,
please.
Yeah, so we did a 1-year mentorship with the catalyst himself, one-on-one. Okay. I think we're about 50 life coaches.
Your life coaching, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
So we finally rounded up, and they had to send us certificates. So it was a period of learning. We're coaching. You know, we're doing projects. We're carrying out tasks just to ensure that we are learning from him directly, and it was really awesome and powerful. And, you know, one of the things that we're supposed to get out of that was to carve a niche for ourselves, which I've been able to do. I was struggling at the beginning to, where do I, you know, when you have interest in a lot of things, it's like a sickness. For people who can do just one thing, it's easier to just stay here. But for someone who is gifted in different things, you find it difficult to just, okay, which one do I leave? I like this one, which one do I pick? You know, but finally, I've been able to synchronize everything together and find harmony. And that's why I'm the waker right now.
Woo! I see that. Nice, I like it. Very cool.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, you know. I'm just happy. Looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah. Yes, I'm looking forward to the weekend too.
We'll have fun.
And in 2 ways, graduating and hanging out.
Yeah.
Okay, so much happening just in Lagos, you know, but first, let's go through the front page of the papers. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, let's start with the Punch. Omicron, Canada bars Nigerians, fear spreads as NCDC records 3 cases. Government bars unvaccinated civil servants, military issues directive. Lagos hoodlums hack NURTW boss at home, shoot him dead in hospital. Resign before December 18th, Fayemi tells appointees, nursing governor ambition. 6.9 billion naira fraud. Apayoshi's ally deposited 209 million naira cash for property, says witness. Popular Oyo Islamic cleric tackles army, demands whereabouts of arrested brother. Ramaphosa alleges discrimination in South Africa, others travel ban over Omicron. Senate panel fought aviation ministry over NG Eagle operating license. And stop irresponsible publicity stunts. Review your sponsors, President tells Serap. Okay, which stories are we taking? The Punch? Lots of stories.
Human interest?
Let's start with the human interest.
Yes, so a leader of the National Union of Road Transport Workers in Lagos State, Kunle Ajibade, was murdered by suspected hoodlums in Ijeshatedo. Did I get that? Ijeshatedo, yes, in the Surulere area of the state. And what happened was that they had a party called Prosper Day. It was a celebration, and then different rival gangs were around. And I think one of them got up after he was drunk and was just dancing, and that caused them to start fighting each other. Then this chairman was stabbed, the 28-year-old was stabbed in his house. They followed him to his house and stabbed him. And then when he was rushed to the hospital, they went into the hospital and shot him. So they were taking him away from that particular hospital to Luth while he died in the keke napep that was taking him. So investigations are ongoing. I think the vice president of the NURTW is saying that they usually have these parties and then they cause fight among each other. There are different rival groups. They did not mention cultism, but it's obvious this is an act of cultism that has happened. The police said they are going to investigate this matter, and I hope they catch the people who have committed this crime.
Hey.
The Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Obasanjo, is faulting the Aviation Ministry and the Minister over what they call the NG Eagle operating license. So AMCON is supposed to get this license as part of our own Nigerian carrier that we're trying to flag off. I don't understand how, because in the report it didn't clearly state how, but he mentioned that AMCON is also trying to recover from some airlines who have defaulted in the past 4.4 trillion naira, which is supposed to assist them. And in some ways, the Ministry of Aviation is now frustrating AMCON getting that license, which will probably enable them get this 4.4 trillion naira. Is a huge debt, according to him, and he thinks that is overdue for AMCON to recover that money. I'd like more clarity on that. I read this story over and over to get how AMCON is involved in the carrier, why, because AMCON is supposed to just recover debts.
Yeah.
You know, I want to know exactly why.
Okay, Mara?
State has directed all those serving in his government who would like to contest for the governorship election to please put in their resignation by the 18th of December. They're saying that this is, in accordance with INEC. The governorship primaries are supposed to start in January. I think that will start in January ahead of the June 2020 governorship election. So he's telling them, and then they have some of the people that have shown interest, the Secretary to the State of the Governor, Chief of Staff, Commissioner for Public. So I'm thinking that, how do you tell your boss that I want to resign because I'm gunning for your job?
Just resign.
Yes. Like, oh, so you're the one that's going.
Okay, resign. I know you. All right, so SERAP, that's the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, have taken the federal government to court. They put in a suit filed November 26th, asking the Federal High Court in Abuja to compel President Buhari to take immediate steps to ensure the arrest of soldiers and police officers indicted by the Lagos #EndSARS report. But responding to that, Garba Shehu replied saying that, who are you people? Where are your sponsors? That you are always, that there are legal ways of handling these things. I'm trying to quote him. He says, indeed, it's the fact that independent NGOs can thrive in different ways, but simply, here lies Arab's paradox. In a country without human rights, no rule of law, limited freedom of expression, and weak democratic institutions. So he's saying that they are just a bunch of, he's totally discrediting what they're doing and saying that they always find a way to discredit what the president is doing, and they should reveal who their sponsors are, because they believe they're the ones that are actually pushing them in this act of act against the government. Okay, let's find another story. Let's move on now very quickly to The Nation. #EndSARS report, Lagos government defense white paper. House wants 2.6 trillion naira debt by oil firms recovered. How to foster national unity by Kuka, by Emi and Aremu. Buhari to Ramaphosa, Nigeria, South Africa should end the back and forth. NCDC confirms 3 cases of Omicron COVID-19 variant. And UBA is Africa's Bank of the Year. Which story are we taking? So
the House of Representatives had 2 separate motions that they adopted. One moved by Ahmed Munir and the other one by Ibrahim Isaka. They were asking that our 2.6 trillion naira debt owed by oil firms, and the 2 honorables were quoting NEITI, that's the Nigerian Extractive, what's that called? Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, as the source of confirming that 77 oil firms are owing us and they set up an ad hoc committee headed by the chief whip to look into this amount, to reconcile what the federal government is owing and what the oil companies is owing them each other as a result of their joint ventures, and get to us about what we will finally be paying. They've asked the NATI, they've asked the Nigerian Oil Spill Detection and Response Agencies, they've asked FIRS to all join hands and facilitate this debt recovery, because 2.6 trillion naira is a huge chunk that can help us clear the deficit for the 2022 budget. I agree with them 110%.
Okay, NCDC, what was the story?
No, I have the COVID-19.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the United States of America, United Kingdom, and the European Union, Canada as well, some of the countries that has imposed the ban on South Africa as a result of the new COVID-19 virus that has been detected, Omicron. And according to the World Health Organization, they are saying that this is a variant of concern, and it has a higher reinfection risk on the people that it has affected before. So the South African president is saying to the EU countries that have, imposed the ban, that this is not the right thing to do. He said, according to him, he said it's discriminatory, it's arbitrary, and it's unscientific. And when they followed the tracing, they found out that they've had this COVID-19 virus in Netherlands, but just that it was not reported. So South Africa is now standing as the first African country that it has been found in. And he also, appealed and thanked the Nigerian president, who is standing in solidarity with South Africa and some other, I think Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana. There are countries who are saying that they're going to help appeal this travel ban, that this is the time for them to be united and stand with one another in the light of this COVID-19. But they are appealing to us that
discriminating against Africa.
Yes, because not
only South Africa, but some other African countries, Malawi, including Nigeria, has been banned from Canada.
Accessing. Yes. So where they found this Omicron variant in 3 persons who just came in from South Africa to Nigeria, I think through Abuja, and they are asking that the testings are going to be done regularly to ascertain if we have, so they are suspecting that we may have had it and it's already within us, but we need to still follow the COVID-19 protocols, wash our hands, use our face masks, and all that.
It was discovered in about 25 countries already. And they didn't ban other countries in the world, but countries from Africa.
So okay, let's first reported it. So.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're moving on now to Vanguard. FG confirms 3 cases of Omicron variant in Nigeria. Kano boat mishap death toll hits 29. UBA wins 2021 Banker Awards. State of the Nation, Salt and Fayemi Jega X-ray challenges prefer solutions. Anambra Court declines to nullify Soludo's election. Trudeau, Salem, reps ask committees to submit investigative reports on late Vanguard reporters next Tuesday. 7 suspected serial killers arrested in Ogun. Consider designating kidnappers as terrorists, reps urge federal government. 5 years of whistleblowing, Nigerians still afraid of reporting corruptions, federal government laments. Okay, which story are we taking?
5 years of whistleblowing.
Nima, go ahead.
This is according to the chair, the Executive Secretary, Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption, Professor Sadiq Isarada. He says that in reviewing the 5 years at an event, I think the public presentation of a report on the survey of 5 years of whistleblowing in Nigeria, he says that after 5 years, Nigeria still shy away from reporting corruption, and he's calling on civil societies and all of these corruption advocates to start to look into encouraging it as a humanitarian intervention to corruption, saying that corruption will cripple us and that the fight against corruption, as far as they are concerned, will continue. But I think that what will discourage whistleblowing is if payments are delayed. So the report did not get there. people had blown whistle in the past. But we have not heard about anybody who got paid.
Also, if you uncover their identity,
yes,
so
and
they will
then,
not do it. So.
No, because we had one that they said they had issues and they had to come to court and just blew it open. If it's not done tidily, they encourage people to blow whistle.
So the whistleblowing industry needs to be organized, regulated.
Anyway, the House of Reps yesterday discussing, and they're saying that it's time to consider or prescribe kidnappers as terrorists. And they're asking the federal government to do that. They also talked about the need to provide security, measures in many private schools. That yes, we know the UNICEF gave us some numbers. We know the millions of Nigerian children that are out of school. And then to compound that, we have in the north where we have Boko Haram and kidnappers now boldly going into schools and kidnapping children and making it like a business. So it says, but even with all that, we don't see private schools taking up that action of providing better security around their schools and for their students. So they're asking private schools to look into that. And that, of course, it remains federal government's responsibility to provide security for its people. So.
At that same plenary, the Speaker of the House of Representatives was also asking the National Security and Intelligence Police and Defense to submit their findings on the circumstances of the disappearance and death of the Vanguard newspaper's reporter, Todo Salem. If you recall, this young man used to report at the House of Assembly, the National Assembly, and
then disappeared.
And he disappeared. And his body was later found, and they're quite interested in what happened. So they're waiting for the report. And I'm happy that the Speaker himself is the one that made this announcement. So we're hoping that we keep the story alive because we don't want this matter to be swept under the carpet.
Yeah, so a member of a suspected 7-man ritual killer syndicate, Lekan Oladipupo, is currently being investigated by the operatives of the Ogun State Police Command. And it's been revealed that he was responsible for scouting and killing unsuspecting victims. So according to his side of the story, he said he goes into the bush with his Dane gun, and when he finds any victim, he shoots them. Then he calls another of his colleague, who I'm trying to find the name now, Sulaimon Aremu, who will now come and butcher and, share into different parts. They have names for these different parts. They call the head the ball. That's for their buyers, so that people don't understand what they're talking about. They call the hat. I can't remember now. They call the head the ball, the hat, and the arms, they call it fan. So that's what you use to identify what exactly you want to buy from them. And so they have customers who are on standby to buy these human parts from them. So what happened was that somebody came to visit his brother and then realized his brother has disappeared and reported the case to the police. And during investigations, they were able to catch this one, and he traced them to catch the other of his partners in crime, yes. And they were also able to catch some of the buyers, I think about 3 of them who have bought this human part, and they said you use it to perform money ritual.
Okay, moving on to Daily Sun. COVID-19, I talked about that already. Civil servants at the Federal Secretariat Abuja locked out of not presenting proof of COVID-19 vaccination yesterday. Court moves forward. IPOB leaders hearing to today. Let's avoid unhealthy competition, Buhari urges Ramaphosa. NSA calls for right laws to fight cybercrimes. Court dismisses suit seeking Soludo's disqualification as Anambra governor-elect. I adhere to protocols outlined to see Nnamdi Kanu, says Kalu. And Nigeria not healthy, says Fayemi. Jega laments state of affairs. Okay, which stories? Yes.
So our president received the president of South Africa yesterday at the 10th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission, BNC. And, the conversation was really about our relations, between Nigeria and South Africa. The president referred to the 9th session that happened, said there were some of things that they had laid out to do. Some haven't been done yet, but, they're happy with what they have been able to achieve so far, even with COVID. But whatever it is that we do as 2 countries, we should push for better relations, and also in education, in sciences, investment, tourism, and security. And the relations should be more collaborative and less, unhealthy competition with each other. And that will translate, in a better, it will be better for Africa if that's the sort of relationship that we have. So I like that conversation. We know that we've always had some of those issues between Africa, South Africa. We have them start as jokes. Sometimes, you know, we've seen some of the xenophobic attacks. So it's important that we're having this conversation at that top level. And that for those people who have felt victimized, you know, for those attacks, we need to also see some form of justice, you know, on the Nigerian side as well.
So as Nnamdi Kanu's trial continues today, the Minister for Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation has said that the out-of-court settlement called for by some Igbo elders, that's the former Minister of Aviation, Mbazuike Amechi, and some of the Igbo elders that went to see the president in Aso Rock and called for an out-of-court settlement and immediate stop to the trial of Nnamdi Kanu is premature and is not, according to him, right at this time, because even if the president were to come in, he can only come in, he cannot stop a court trial. What he can do is come in at the point of conviction and pardon Nnamdi Kanu. So they need a conviction before the president can then do an out-of-court settlement. But I disagree, because as the Attorney General, only the Attorney General, not the president, has constitutional powers to stop a trial. And if it is a sensitive matter like this, only him, of course, can advise the president on his powers to stop this trial and settle out of court. And is constitutionally provided with those powers. I think it's just been...
And finally, as an event yesterday, talking about unity of Nigeria, Governor Fayemi was making a statement. I mean, and he was there with the former Independent National Electoral Commission Chairman Atahiru Jega, amongst others. And we're talking about the unity of Nigeria. And I think one of the things he said that was really striking was that he said that he has often... Okay, I didn't want, let me not take that. That was a bit sarcastic. There was a quote I want to say. He said, while it is normal that leaders must have their ears to the ground and feel the pulse of the people who have elected them, and imbibing, reproducing, and spilling out raw crude. There was something he wanted to say. Oh, I lost that. Anyway, there was another thing that Jega said. He said that leaders must truly lead by using the broader, more complex, and better nuanced understanding they have to help moderate and modulate seasons of deep division in the polity, rather than becoming the ones who add fuel to the raging fire. I thought that was profound. There was something I wanted to say about that fire that Governor Fayemi said, which was really, but I couldn't find it. But it was, I really liked a copy of that speech, because the kind of things we need to take excerpts from and post to remind Nigerians.
I have Fayemi's quote. To be sure, unity cannot endure where injustice, exclusion, inequities, and marginalizations are embedded in the practice of governance. That is why leaders must pay attention to at all times to ensure that as we work to deliver on our mandate, fairness and equity are made our watchword at all times and not pay lip service to the unity of the country.
Right. All right. Moving on to our final paper, which is the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken at all. Andy Uba, Maduka, 9 others filed petition to challenge Soludo at tribunal. New list of local government exco's in Oyo released. Unity can't endure where injustice thrives, says Fayemi. Nigeria's high debt, an invitation to recolonization and slavery, says Afe Babalola. Any shop location hard drug is sold in the southeast will be forfeited to government, says governors. And UBA Group dominates 2021 Banker Awards with Africa Bank of the Year. All right.
Yeah, so the Southeast governors had an emergency virtual meeting, after which they resolved that government will henceforth take over all the shops and locations where hard drugs are sold. Yes. I think as a result of their investigations, they realized that especially this meth, I don't want to call the full name, methamphetamine, is being sold widely in the Southeast. It even has an Igbo name, Mkpurumiri. And they've been trying to, locate all the shops where they have found that people are perpetrating this act. So they're going to be locking up the shops. They're going to be taking everything that they have that's in the shop. The government will take ownership of it. They've also started...
How about homes? Sorry.
How about what?
Homes, people's homes. Would
they didn't mention that. Maybe they transact through the shops. So also they have started carrying out rehabilitation for people who have been using hard drugs, those ones who had been pushed into it. That is ongoing as well. And they're saying they are going to prosecute anyone who is caught selling these drugs. They are taking this fight very serious because of what is happening in the Southeast.
That's all we can take on that. Thank you very much, Bisi. Let's go to a break. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Hello, my name is Brian Tracy, and I'm a professional speaker and management consultant. And I want to introduce you to my good friend, Linus Okorie. He's a leadership consultant, a coach, a training facilitator, and a public speaker. He is the Chief Executive Officer of GOTV Leadership Center. This center offers consulting, executive coaching, training, leadership development solutions, and public speaking services. This is Nigeria and Africa's foremost institution for leadership development. They have successfully helped people to develop the capabilities and capacities that make them more effective. Please visit the address on the screen or call the phone number or email the address that you can see, and they will get back to you right away.
That's our guest this morning, Mr. Linus Okorie, a renowned leadership development coach and human capital development consultant for 20 years. Welcome to the show. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Good to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
So, leadership obviously is something we've heard from people like Brian Tracy, Miles Monroe, and all these great speakers. And you're also in this pack. Tell us, why is leadership such an important issue at this time, especially in our country?
First thing first, I want to thank you for inviting me to share a platform with you. And congratulations for the great work you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Everything falls and rises on leadership. Leadership is basically what makes systems work. Nations that have made great progress, there have been nations that have invested hugely in the leadership capital of the citizens and the leaders alike. And that's why somebody like Lee Kuan Yew, who says something like this, he said, I built this nation with my life. And what I have got is a successful Singapore. And then he asked a question, say, what are you building? So when leaders emerge in any system, progress happens. And Martin Luther King Jr. said, men make history, not the other way around. In period where there is no leadership, society stands still. Progress occurs only when men and women of vision and courage and skill seize the opportunity to change things for the better. So any family that you see that is not making progress, the question is leadership deficit. Any organization and company that is not making progress, leadership deficit. Any country not making progress, it's the same thing, leadership deficit. So you need a critical mass of people who understand at least the fundamentals of leadership.
Right, before I let this come in, because often when people talk about Lee Kuan Yew, I always think to myself, who taught Lee Kuan Yew? Where did he get this direction on leadership? Because it's easy to quote him and see what he's done with Singapore, but you think, so, okay, do we need these learnings, or is real leadership about what is inherent in you, what you come with, what that desire to, you know, I want to change and I lead for change? Must you go and get these lessons on leadership to know how to lead?
There are two components. If you check the history of Lee Kuan Yew, you see a man who's prepared. I mean, most of his life was not even in Singapore. I mean, he schooled overseas, and he spent time preparing himself, which means he identified his core values. And everybody who knew him knew his core value was big. He was big on learning. He was big on personal development. He was big on excellence. I mean, he would tell you that he would go into, if he wants to find out the economy of a nation, whether the economy is working or not, he goes to a hotel, five-star hotel in that country. He goes to the toilets. And if the toilets are working, then the economy of the country is working.
Wow.
But if the toilets are failing, guess what? That economy is either failing or it's about to fail. So what it means is that the regulatory system of that country is not working. So leadership has the component of everybody is born to be a leader. That is self-discovery. So at the point where we're all born, we all have our various areas of life. That's why if you allow the fish to swim, the fish will take leadership of the waters. If you allow the birds to fly, the bird will take. So that's why in our country, if we want to create leadership model, what we'll do is that the admission processes will allow everyone to play at his natural state of growth, which means if you are a tailor or a fashion person, that's your life calling. There's no need to go to university to acquire any degree. Create a special school for fashion, and there's no dichotomy in terms of certification. So somebody comes out powerfully. You will see that the person will develop skill, the person will develop leadership capital, the person will develop entrepreneurial, and all of that will come true, and then the best version of that person will emerge.
So let me okay. What you've just said now, there's several gaps that we'll see. What are some of the leadership gaps that we have in Nigeria, and bring the solutions to our ways that so that they are easily adapted? First
thing first is vision. If a man does not have a purpose for waking up, sleeping becomes interesting. So what is that thing?
Oh, I love that.
So what is that thing that makes somebody wakes up from sleep? And there's a sense of urgency to create. If you look at the political space, look at the spaces in this country, you find out that there's a deficit in that. There is the internal envisioning of the ability to see beyond the current reality, and it stretches human beings to become restless in order to be able to accomplish that. So if you have a critical mass of people thinking vision, then a system can be built, then a country can be built, then a businesses can be built like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a restlessness that comes with the vision. The other one is selflessness. Most big visions is not about self. It's about the common good. So when you have a majority of the people thinking about the welfare of other people, in fact, Simon Sinek wrote a book and the title is Leaders Eat Last. Leaders Eat Last. Yeah. It shows the concept of the fact that, you know, leadership is about the common good, not about you. So when you drive that type of, that's where emotional intelligence now comes in. And emotional intelligence is an element of leadership that is lacking, you know, in our system where people do not, you know, have...
You know what? Those people that are the spokespersons for Nigeria, they need this lesson, emotional. They don't know when to talk and when not to talk.
Absolutely.
They need emotional intelligence. Go ahead, BC.
Yes, sir. So I asked you a question earlier about followership, because sometimes I think we do not understand in depth the concept of leadership. We just feel there are people who are meant to take up position and just, you know, guide people. And we don't talk about followership. We don't talk about what sort of followership. We don't talk about, can you be a good leader if you're not a good follower? So where does followership come in? Why I'm asking this question is because I see a lot of people want to be heads. Yeah. And they're not giving room to serve. They're not giving room to volunteer. They just want to wake up and become CEO of something. How does that play?
I am the head, I'm not the
okay. So the interesting thing is that followership is a prerequisite for leadership. Yep. Which means you can't lead unless you have followed. That's the context of leadership. But there are two levels of followers. First is the follower that comes to follow for the sake of just identifying. No growth. Let me even announce to you that more than 60% of the people who walk on the surface of the earth in Nigeria, 60% of the people who walk the street, who work for organizations, most of them are not optimized. And because they're not optimized, they don't bring any value to the table. So asking those people to follow in an organization is destructive because their design already is to generate crisis. So they are present, but they're absent. They are present, but no value to the table. 35% of the rest of the people are people who are, you call it perceived value. So these are the people you call, you know, they fluctuate in terms of value. And guess what? when they come, they do packaging. You know this concept called packaging everybody's talking about. So people package and you know they behave in a certain way, package in a certain way. But when you come into deep level of production, you want to produce value. The value is not there. Because, and that's why you have 35% of those people in the streets, only 5% of the people are real leaders we're talking about.
We have to wrap up very soon, but I want you to touch on your, because I know you have an event coming up very soon.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us about that.
So look at this. We've been going all over the world to do courses on leadership. I mean, I've done several overseas, Harvard, to some of the best institutions in the world. But we're saying that we decided to set up a leadership center in Nigeria, that there will not be any longer capital flight. People can learn local content and lead in Nigeria. So we've started that going on. So now we organize a program for CEOs, top CEOs, executive directors of institutions in Abuja. You just saw the pictures. We graduated them at the Transcorp Hilton. It was fantastic. Now, as I'm talking to you, Lagos is about experiencing that.
Wow.
Marriott Hotel from the 6th to the 12th of this month. No, this month, yes. Like from Monday.
Yeah. We
will be hosting CEOs of companies, executive directors, both private sector. In fact, the least person in class will be a GM. So what the importance of that is that, you know, leaders who are taking decisions must reinvent themselves. So as they build themselves, the organization is built. As they invest in themselves, they can give direction to the organization. So anyone who is listening to me today, right now, and you want your organization to send your top executives to, is the best gift you can give them for this year, you know, so that they can come in. The message is there, that the phone number is on the screen. All you need to do is, in fact, the rate is 1.5 million to have a seat, actually, in that program. And it's less than 10% of what we pay overseas to take courses, $15,000, $20,000. So now we can have that, even with less than $3,000, we can have an opportunity to spend time with some of the best minds, locally and internationally. And let me say this to you. Stretching is a part of the growing process. If CEOs can humble themselves, or top executives, to say they know nothing, like Aristotle used to do many years back, he knows nothing, despite the fact that he knew too much, and he came in a learning system. If you could do that for your organization, the best gift is to create a learning system, come, you know, drop every other thing, one whole week, and graduate on Sunday the 12th. Wow. I can assure you that you will actually write an extra check for Linus Okorie.
All right. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Well, I wish you the best on this conference, and I hope CEOs will be able to get the knowledge as you exactly.
And politicians.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, politicians need it too.
They
need it more.
There are one or two politicians in my class already, so
they need it more. If I have one, I'll pay for a couple. Because there are people that I know that I'll send them to you. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go to our Thursday hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So today we're having a conversation with our mothers and aunties, and we're referencing the comments by the wife of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who recently said that it is wrong for women to expect their husbands to apologize, even when the men are at fault. According to her, women who shoulder the responsibilities of husbands are lucky to be blessed by God. Never enough for them to disrespect their husbands. We would like to hear your thoughts on this. Now, you can call us on 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can send us message on YouTube and Facebook. We'd like to hear your thoughts. Now, the reason why this conversation is important is because many mothers, aunties, family friends in that 60s age have this mentality. And some of these mentalities may affect marriages today, families today, homes today. And it's important that we have some of these kind of conversations, maybe to set the record straight or to help educate or to maybe reorientate ourselves on how our parents did it and how we should do it. So she is saying, and her angle is, listen, your husband, now I'm paraphrasing, your husband is Lord and Master. That's how it's interpreted to me. And you can take it in a different interpretation. He's Lord and Master. If he does wrong, don't object. No matter what happens, take it in because he's the head of the house, you know. But if we use that wisdom that our parents, I mean, that's the wisdom most of our parents used back then. Did it serve them well? Or did they do themselves a disservice by just accepting that this is Lord and Master, and whatever he says goes? That's really the conversation. Nima, let me start with you.
Okay. So, what she's simply establishing is patriarchy in simple terms and nothing more. Relationships, thankfully in our time, is about two equal, consenting, willing adults. And anybody can be vexed. If I am not happy, I should be able to tell my husband in either by action or by words that I'm not happy. And my husband should be able to say, Madam, no vex. Simple, no complication. No, even if he meant it, I didn't know it would offend you. You know, we take actions and the other person is offended and we're thinking what's offending you. But because the person is offended, you apologize. You say, you know, and I'm sorry and everything, and people move on. But the way they lived and grew up was one of the things that when I was much younger, I hated. I used to say I would not marry until I stopped looking outside my home and decided to look at my parents' relationship. If not, a lot of women, young girls, didn't want to be in those situations they call toxic. How can you be with somebody? If they offend, if they beat you, you cannot cry. If you cry, you are still beating. That's the situation she's painting. You know?
So when you have a mother that is reinforcing patriarchy in that kind of sense, how then do you, as a woman, as a young woman or as a younger man, who is trying to have this modern perspective of life, how then do you find a middle ground where your mother is saying, if he offends you, don't say, must he say sorry? He's not your husband. Must he say sorry? He's the man now. You see? Mm-hmm. They're the wrongest person.
I'm telling you, because, number one, my mother cannot say that. Number two, my mother can say that, but me, I will not listen. Because I have a mind of my own. And what I believe in marriage is, it works differently for different people. If you have come to this life to be subdued, you've come to this life to be inferior, it's on you. But don't project it to me. That's not why I've come to this life. I've come to this life to fulfill my highest potential. And I desire a partner who would go on this journey with me. I'm fulfilling mine, you're fulfilling yours, with mutual respect. Respect each other. I would respect you as a wife. Forget how I sound, I'm naturally assertive. But it doesn't take away the humility in me. It doesn't take away the respect in me. I'll respect you, but you will respect me back. This is not, God did not bring me in the 18th century or in the 16th century to come and face all of this. He brought me at this time because I was best suited for this time. So do not bring the 18th century and 16th century methods for a modern woman who desires respect. When you respect me, which means admitting when you are wrong and saying sorry, I will give you love. I will admit when I'm wrong and I will say sorry. I will pamper you. I will take care of you. The home will flourish. Going further on her comments, she talked about as women, we need to swallow some things for the benefit of the children. Do I want to raise children who will now, as girls, who will now see their mother as someone inferior? It affects their self-esteem. Tomorrow, they marry into a home where the man is dealing with them and they feel, my mommy took it. Let me take it. Maybe that's how it's, no.
The cycle continues.
It will not happen again.
Okay, so, but Mariam, this life throws you different kind of lemons. So you are a assertive, confident young woman, and you marry a man who has a mother that is like this saying, what, you're the man now, must you say sorry? You know? So you want to be the modern, you want to achieve your potential, but your husband is not like that. So would you tell this person that, okay, because you marry this kind of person, he is Lord and Master. But even when he is wrong, we just accept it like that. Is that the best advice to give a woman who is in this shoes right now? They are not lucky enough to marry the person that is on that same level as they are. They are married to somebody whose mother is the former governor, the former president's wife. And she's telling her son that, must you apologize?
Such a wife, sorry.
So, first of all, the foundation of the question itself is a bit flawed. Because you would have dated this person.
Didn't you know?
So you would have dated this person. So you should have dated this person.
Sometimes you don't date,
So for normal people of this generation.
We are not abnormal.
She's not date now, so okay. Say most people, or many people.
For the sort of people that I know, my own sphere of, that I know, they usually date. Okay. And even if we're not talking dating and intimacy also, you get to see who they are and who, their family principles. So I'm hoping that when you see that from that dating period, you already know that this is what you may face. So you're thinking, I can't do this, or when I get there, I can manage it. So for someone else too, it could be, I have seen it done in my home. I'm sure I will be able to handle it. Because for many people, the mistake is to see this ahead of time, go into that home, and then you're getting upset and getting angry that things are not the way it should be, the way that you have imagined it. You want to change it. Some people will tell you that they have been lucky, and they'll give you the story of their marriage where it was tough for many years until finally God intervened and helped me. But marriages can be easier when you see some of these things ahead of time. And I do not believe that anyone would go into marriage and then change to be that sort of person. You have to already be that kind of person. You don't change and be that person. So, you have some people say, the person changed on me. I don't agree. I feel the person has always been that way. You close your eyes. Then you did not really see it or did not pay attention. In little things, when they are dating you, there are some of the things that they will tell you, do to you, that, or to other people around you that makes you, that, brings to your consciousness, oh, this person is like that. So
okay, let me go on a break because we actually can find some wisdom in what this woman said. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Now you define it.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing what the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo's wife, said. And this was interesting because I had raised the scenario, or mentioned a scenario earlier, where you find a woman who is just like maybe like an Obiajulu, modern woman who has dreams and aspirations. She wants to do big things. But life happened. She ended up with somebody who is a nice guy, but because his foundation is from somebody like this, his mother, this is the kind of mother he has, who has sort of layered him with information of like, you're the man, you're the boss, you can't be wrong, you're the one in charge. When these two people come together, there'll be friction, right? Yeah. So there are many women in this situation right now where they are married to such men. Now, is there no wisdom, therefore, in what this woman is advising? That if you have a man like that, when things happen, you don't expect sorry, because that is his bad. He doesn't expect you.
But what about how you are?
So therefore, in that kind of situation, you humble yourself, no matter what happens. Let him be Lord and Master, but you can still get your way. Even him being Lord and Master. Yeah. There's a way you do it such that you come across as subservient, but eventually you can still nibble your way through to his heart, such that in future, you always get your way.
So I think that's the wisdom. Now that you have made it a specific man,
yes.
So we're not talking to all men and all husbands and all wives. We're talking to a specific kind of man who has determined that I'm the Lord and Master, and you will not breathe until I say you breathe. You would not do a certain kind of job until I say, I have to give you permission to chase your dreams.
Leave,
there are some people that would get up. Many marriages, they'll get up and they're chasing their dreams, and the husband is just there to support, cheerleader and everything.
Yes.
You know, and there are some people you have to ask their permission to use a phone.
Yes.
I've seen conversations on social media where some men have said, I've banned my wife from using social media, and I'm wondering, is this a real wife or is it a child bride, you know? But there are some people like that, and as you said, since you specified it, if you find yourself in that kind of marriage, you cannot go in there with your shoulders high. So I guess Mommy is trying to say, those kind of men, we know them. This is the way to do it with them.
Yes.
You'll be cunning.
Wisdom.
You'll be, I don't know if I should call it wisdom, but you'll be cunning. You'll be, you know, you hide yourself. You subdue yourself. You are not important until you find a way that then he will finally look at you and let you. I would not want that for my child. I would not like for her to meet a man like that she has to almost deceive him into believing she's a different kind of person. Everything that she has inside her, everything that she wants to be, she cannot be until he gives her permission.
Okay, let me, I think I have a caller. Dr. Moyo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
By the way, congratulations on the success of your master's degree.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Moyo. I never get certificates.
People see marriage in different ways. I don't subscribe to the idea of this philosophy is not okay at all, because in the first place it creates a toxic relationship where it's not like a master-slave relationship. In my perspective, I think marriage is companionship. And secondly, godliness also talks about mutual respect. There is pride is satanic. It does not come from God. Pride should have no place in marriage at all. Both people should be respectful of each other's feelings. And I don't know of any relationship where pride can work. There's no place. Boss to subordinate, colleagues at work. Pride, there's no relationship that can ever be sustained with pride.
All right.
So I think this ideology is the thing that creates angry, resentful women. They are not the kind of things that create a happy woman. And whatever you put in a woman is what you will put in your child in the first place.
All right, thank you, Dr. Moyo. I want us to, because we all agree that this is not the ideal type of marriage. But one of the benefits we have on this show is that we see various types of marriage. And today we are addressing this type of marriage. Whether we like it or not, this woman has entered this marriage. She's married to this man. So, as I said, going back to it, so how does a woman who knows the kind of person she's married, you know, she doesn't have that ideal kind of man. How do you then, so wouldn't you call this advice wisdom for that woman? Or you're insisting that, no, that man must change because it's marriage should be 50-50. No, he can't
there are
change.
different types of marriage, and I wanted to agree with Miriam that this is a strategy mothers have used over the years to survive marriage. So, for some mothers, they look at the end goal. I can't raise my children alone. I have 7 or 10 of them. This man is still the provider, and so therefore is Lord. So see, if my goal is to have well-formed, developed, and successful children, I will put up with this as my strategy to get there.
Yes.
So they clear their eye, they know it. So things like unapologetic husbands and all these things will not offend them because they are looking at the goal. And you see such women, they actually do survive.
Yes.
But there are women who, they cannot just deal with that resentment, and they die before their time. Their children now grow bitter because they saw what the father puts their mothers through and abandon the father because maybe he does the mistake of even just moving on. Or, you know, we've seen some worse cases. Yes. And so you know yourself. And you know that, okay, me now, I can take all of this. I will deal. I will still have whole, complete, well-formed children at the end of the day. And so you can put up with it. So be clear about that strategy. Yes. But if you know yourself that you are just going to be bitter, bottling it, and then maybe the child is bad, do your head well. Is that not your useless father that is doing me like this?
That's
and
what we see most of the time.
You are growing the child. You're growing the child. And some will not even say to the child, but the child will walk in the corners and see them crying. And the child will be like, is this because of what daddy just said? Or some will hear their father talk down at their mothers and wonder, and the child just continues to grow up. Build up that resentment.
So know thyself. If you can handle it,
your goal, yes. If you can
let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Okay, walk out.
Hello, good morning. Bolaji, are you there? Okay, BC.
Yes, so what I see some of the time is as a strategy to survive by some of these women who had to endure this for years till their children are grown. when their children are now grown, they turn the face of their children away from the man. That's mostly the end result that I see. Looking through, you know, my childhood growing up and all the people around me. And then you see the man in his older years complaining that the children no longer pay attention to him. It's only their mother they know. It's only their mother they send money. It's only their mother they do this. Because the truth is these children observe. They see what is happening. They know when a woman is not happy. Even if you don't tell your child, you see some children will come and hug you. Mommy, just hug me. Mommy, are you okay? They are sensitive beings. So in the bid to protect them because you want them to be housed under one roof, they see all of those toxicity. So what happens is some of the men pick it up from their father. This is how to treat wives going forward. When they marry, they are playing the life of their father to their modern wife because they are modern now, but they have a cassette player underneath that is olden days. They are playing that. That's issues in marriage, one hand. We now have women who take up how their mothers have, you know, been treated, and they feel, okay, that's normal once you're a man. And because of this, they offend you. You say sorry as a woman. You offend them. You say sorry as a woman. We have raised a lot of badly behaved men who do not take responsibility for their actions, who always feel that they can get away with how they treat women, how they treat their wives. Till they start having daughters. When they start having daughters, those same men will change and say, you dare not talk to my daughter anyhow. You dare not do this anyhow. So, for a balance, if you have already entered in such a relationship where the man is like this, please keep having that conversation with him. No, I wouldn't want to say any man is a stone. If he gives you the permission. If he gives, that's another thing. The permission. But find a way. There are programs that they have, if you are a religious person, where people are beginning to understand that we all need to treat...
This woman gave a strategy, say enter the bedroom. She said it in her speech.
And beg him for...
Romantically, there's a way you do it to get... So from the mommy's side, it is still that when you enter the bedroom, there's a way you do it to get him to...
Or you just accept your fate
and
accept the strategy. Let me take this call from James. James, are you there? Hello, James, are you there?
Network.
I think we lost that. Yes.
So some extreme cases is allowing him his way, even if it is evil. Incest. Child rape.
You see that?
No. Extreme cases.
Yes, James, are you there?
We will talk.
Hello, James, are you there? Go ahead, Nima.
So some women would then put up with it. I know someone who was sharing in tears that, you know, her sisters while living with her were abused by her husband. But the marriage is still, she's still in that marriage.
Jesus.
And I was like, Alpha. You know, every time I say, I'm just like, and someone once said to me, is that enough grounds to break a marriage? You know, so some outrageous things that, you know, these women covered up that we cannot even sit down here and mention. So if it is something, maybe your values, don't be too hungry and so hopeless that, you know, you will say, no, it cannot be. I know women who broke out of such situations. Some had to leave children. They ran out of the house. They cannot deal with ordinary infidelity. They ran out mad. Some could not take the beating, the pommeting, and they ran out and said, okay, you know, go kill him, Pekin, but me, I don't want to die. And they left the children. And fast forward later, everybody is fine. Because the children are able to now see, and, you know, they saw their fathers in the ways they are, and were able to forgive their mother running out. Right. Well, some will say, stay there.
Yes. So for me, it will be that I know that many times when people want to talk about marriage, the first person or the group, gender they want to advise is the woman, and constantly telling her how she needs to form and reform and redo her body, you know, to accept a man. But I think that there needs to also be the conversation to men as well. The other day we talked about who is talking to the boys. So I would like mommy now to talk to the boys and tell them that it is wickedness to be that sort of way. Someone with pride, someone that does not listen, the end will only be bad. Somebody like that would not be successful in marriage, in business, in whatever sort of relationship that they have. So it's important that men need to start understanding, because for some men, to be fair, it's what they have been told. And many times, those ones who even show a little kindness and show a different way, the boys will sit down and be calling, why are you behaving like that? Are you a woman rapper? So, you know, so we need to talk to men about kindness. And kindness would only flourish. Yeah. Your wife would love you. Your wife would be submissive to you. If you're so, you know, into that submission thing. They say a woman is only submissive to a man who who makes her secure. So she's sure that she's getting love, she's sure she's getting attention, she's sure that she'll get your ear. And this is not to say that we're asking men to be yes men to their wives. We're saying that even when she's wrong, there's a way you can tell her, you know.
Let me take this call from Soki from Abuja. Are you there? Hello, Soki.
Okay.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
I just want to make a contribution.
Please do.
Yes, I'm here. I want to make a contribution to the topic. I want to say that what Madam Aduke Obasanjo said is very good, and I believe if most ladies for good marriages adhere to our advice, they will be able to resolve their crisis. There is no hard and fast rule in marriage. They say, if you don't expect, you don't get disappointed. So if you expect your man to be a perfect man, an angel, so you don't expect him to make mistakes, then you have problems. Every woman will have shortcomings. But you should also understand that what you feel is wrong in some clients might be right in other clients. So if you have an open mind and a flexible mind to be able to accommodate the weaknesses of your husband,
Soki, let me be sure I understand you. Soki, 1 second. Soki, can you hear me?
That is my take on
Soki,
this.
Soki, can you hear me?
It's not for everyone.
Hello? Soki, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Before you
oh, sugar, you can't hear me. Soki, can you hear me? I really wanted to be clear on what's part of this conversation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, can you listen to the tea?
Contributed what I want to say.
Oh.
Okay, Festus Akimboyewa tried to put it in context on Facebook. He says, why don't you contextualize the statement so that we can understand the context in which the statement was made? I think Mrs. Aduke Obasanjo's advice to wives is not to be dogmatic. Some wives can keep malice until their husbands apologize. So I think if you put it in this context, no, if you put this in this context now, which one is malice now? Because of apology. Let's not be petty. If it's that one, if it is this context, which one is malice until marriage scatter?
Okay, so
it's true.
There's a part of the scripture that says, "Do not treat the wife of your youth badly." When your wife is not happy, doors of blessings will be shut on you as a man. Some men have struggled for a very long time, and they're finding it difficult to, they're not even understanding what's happening, why the breakthroughs are not coming. Check how you are treating the wife of your youth. Even the scripture said it. I just can't remember the exact place right now. But check how you are treating the wife of your youth. There's a sweetness that comes from, showing humility, enjoying humility from a place of love. When a woman knows that the husband loves her, the humility in another level. On her own, she will be doing things, she will be pleasing you, pleasing your family. Your family will see it because she's coming from a place of vibrant love. She's enjoying the atmosphere you have created for her. She will stand and fight for you spiritually and physically. That is the role of the woman. She's your helpmeet. She's there to make sure that you achieve your highest potential. That's why you are together. So if you do not give her that conducive environment to ensure that you flourish as the head of the home first, even before her, you are doing yourself a disservice. So easy to say, sorry, let's have peace. Baby, oh yeah, sorry now, what is it? It's okay, sorry. I did not mean it. Or I'm sorry, it happened. And we move on. We move on to something that will be more productive. Why are we grabbing shoulder? I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Go and buy fish with it in the market now.
But there's also that male ego. That it is in the interest of certain women who have certain kind of husbands to manage. Because if we're hanging there, because if you don't manage it, it is to you, you're doing yourself a disservice.
And so when you manage it and your heart is not pleased,
no, your
heart cannot be pleased. Your heart cannot be. If you're managing that ego because I want peace, I don't want demands for Allah, I want peace. In your heart of hearts, you are not pleased. When you are praying for him, it will not work. That's the point I'm making.
I'll come to you, Nima. So if you because of him, and you manage it, and he's happy, the moment he's happy,
you are not happy.
No, the moment he's happy, the atmosphere of the home changes. And your own happiness begins to flourish. Because
so your happiness is tied to his happiness. He has to be happy before you're happy.
We are looking at it go from an attack point of view. It might be a defense. Some men end up with women too, that they need their ego.
Yes, now.
They need it for their sanity. Some petty women, malice keeping, I will never agree.
I will never forgive.
20 years after, you're still narrating something that has passed. You're still poisoning children. You know, some women just need their ego to remember that they are men. Men who their women cannot make them feel like men. I just want to, because now that Akinboyewa put it like that, it's not like we've not seen such women. Women who they don't know where to honor their man. It's not that a man is loving you, and because he's always helping you with your bag, you don't know when you're in family gatherings that you should tilt a bit or you should come down a bit and say, no.
Don't carry, don't worry, I'll carry.
You know, so that you honor him as well.
Let me take this call from Philip. Philip, are you there?
Hello?
Good morning, Philip. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Morayo. Yes, let me first come to what Miriam said, that some people don't change over during marriage. Actually, some people do change. Not really that they wanted to change, but because the slogan says, "Na man make man wicked." Okay? So that's aside. Then again, let me apologize on behalf of Mama Obasanjo, because I'm not sure she understood what she meant. She said rather, because she actually generalized the whole matter. It is you, Morayo, that is trying to contextualize it or rephrase what she said. Thank God my voice has already betrayed me, I'm a man. Just like Dr. Moyo said. Dr. Moyo is very correct. It is very wrong. It is satanic. It is immoral. It is ungodly for somebody to be in a relationship with not just maybe on the road or kind of a relationship with your own wife, the mother of your children, and you cannot say, "Oh dear, I'm sorry." What does it take from a man to say, "I'm sorry"? It's the simplest thing. I don't know why people find it difficult. It is very wrong. How can't you say, "I'm sorry"? I'm sorry. Just simple. I'm sorry. You cannot say.
I am sorry. 3 letters.
In fact, I'm short of words for a human being. And such a man will go to the office and be telling me,
his boss, sorry.
I am sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. And you cannot say that to your own wife. That is just what I want to say.
Thank you very much, Philip. So, I like the angle Mr. Philip brought it in. But the reality is that we live in Nigeria and Africa, where there are some men, they are growing up. That's how they were raised. They have never seen their father apologize to their mother for beating her up or talking to her anyhow, or even when they are fighting, the father never apologized. So they don't have that in their software.
No. But
do you know what
used to be different? Languages were different.
So the point I'm trying to make is that when you have a man like that, so it's easy for Mr. Philip to say, I'm sorry. But another man finds it extremely difficult.
But he will give
How do you help that kind of a man?
Okay, let me tell you what is happening to boys like that.
Yes.
They are going to school. They are dating people who were raised differently. And they've done first relationship. It did not work out because I did not apologize. Second relationship, it did not work out because I was unkind. Third relationship, so they are thinking, they're sitting down with their boys and they're thinking, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Then they are learning and relearning. So, you know, Mr. Philip was saying some people do change. I guess you can develop yourself. So in that way, by the time they get into marriage, they may still have a little bit of that, but I'm hoping that men like that are more open. People who are just so set in their ways, they're not very exposed people. Because it is normal that as you relate with people, you open your horizon, you understand different people, you understand culture. That's education. It modifies you. Then you become a better version of your upbringing. Yes, we understand that all our upbringings, we've had limitations, and we learn from each other. We see this person has this strength, and we're learning. So that's what it is. And the conversation, I would still say, has to be to the boys. I think men are not getting that sort of education that women get constantly on how to behave. That saying "I'm sorry" thing, I've heard it, you know. I used to hear it in the past. I don't know anyone that thinks like that anymore. In my close circle, really, I don't know anyone that thinks that way. People know that they would apologize when they've done something wrong. And people know that, and people also understand, you know, I'm also talking for the women too. men also stand up to women who are not nice now.
Yes.
They will not take it. Men, they know how to do this more than anyone.
Yes.
There's some disrespect they will not take.
Yes.
They will tell you the first time, the second time, the third time, then you say a different person.
Yes.
Okay, let me take Dr. Frick, I believe. Good morning, are you there? Hello, good morning, you're live. Mr. Frick?
Hello.
Morning, are you there? You're live.
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, all right, thank you. So this is my take. Life is not about gender. You can't genderize some things. All right?
Yes.
You can't say respect or feelings can be genderized. If you can hurt, you can apologize. If you can mess up, you can clean up.
Simple.
Regardless of who or what you are. Because it's not the flesh, it's the soul, and the soul has no gender. So whatever you do, you must be ready for the consequences. That is the ideal. Now, I understand the drift of people in marriages where the married, permit me to use the word monster, and the guy is all in all and all that. Regardless, they will never come to the fruition of their purpose or destiny with such a man, because each time you have to swallow trash just because it doesn't have, it reduces you, and before you know what, you take it out of your marriage. It goes beyond your marriage. People out there begin to treat you like that. You become a trash can. So a woman in marriage is hurt and cannot demand apology. Is absolutely unacceptable and wrong, regardless of the age and time.
Fantastic.
The reason why a lot of men will not leave this country to travel overseas is because they will not be allowed to flex their ego like they used to. So at this day and age, I think any right-thinking man hurts his wife, he should apologize. It is just, it's not gender thing, it is normal. If you hurt, you appease. It's just like that. The fact that somebody is the man of the house, in fact, to set the tone of responsibility and values for the children in the way they see him exalt and eulogize their mom. The way I was raised was, you are not ready to be a husband until you can say sorry for no reason. You don't even have to hurt your wife to apologize.
Yes, so just
because
bring
the
in the
process
apology.
my parents supposed to know was, do you want to be right or you want to be happy? So sometimes you need to sacrifice to be happy. And that goes both ways.
Yeah. Dr. Frick, thank you so much.
Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a few comments and we'll wrap up.
Charabdin Adesanya says, for a successful marital bliss, both couples must be able to apologize when at fault. One of his signs is that, okay, this is a Quran quote. One of his signs is that he's created mates for you from yourselves, that you may find rest in them. He puts between you love and compassion. Most surely, these are signs for people who reflect. This is the Quran. I love this verse.
Mr. PJ Comedian says, growing up, my father never apologized. Even when he maltreats my mom, this led to scatterization of our family. I grew up vowing to do things differently. So today, I apologize whether I am right or wrong.
So
okay, we have to wrap up. Let me take this one. So, says the scripture Obiajulu was looking for is Proverbs 5:18. Rejoice with the wife of your youth.
Thank you so much, darling.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on a break. When we come back, I mean, so generally, let me just wrap up on this. Generally, I think it's education. Yes, we all have different backgrounds on how we're raised, but we continue to evolve and build ourselves. So just like Dr. Frick says, do you want to be happy? Do you want to be right? Or do you want to be happy? You know, you choose what you want. So I think the most important is that we're human beings with souls. When you wrong someone, you apologize, regardless of the gender. That's pretty much what the conversation has brought out. Let's go on the break. When we come back, move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, you know, when you grow up and they're telling you, don't forget the house of where you're coming from, be your father's child, be your, family, your family name.
so important to you. So we saw a message by a young man, Abba Bichi. He says, on a short notice to all Nigerian media houses and blogs, please stop addressing me as the son of the DG DSS. Address me by my full name, Bichi Yusuf Abba. The office holder should be addressed as that, not me. I have all the right to charge anyone who does that because he's his own person. DG DSS is not a family title, but a national title to the holder of the office. So you know how they say the governor's son or the president's son. You know when the young man had an accident sometime, we hadn't even heard his name, just kept saying the president's son, you know? So this young man is saying, stop addressing me with my father's office.
Yeah.
Address me as who I am. Because he's about to, I think he just got a deal, international football deal, and he wants to be known for who he is. But as Nigerians, because it is who our father is that sometimes they attach with who we are. Should we now start thinking of, okay, maybe let me dissociate myself from what my father is or who is known as? Because that's what people know you are. That's how they reckon with you in this part of the world, from your father where you're coming from.
Yeah, okay, so I understand it, but I also understand who people that will refer to him on his father is to give context. Did you understand? Okay, this is this person, the son of this person. I don't think it's always wrong, but I can understand how unpalatable it will be to someone like that, especially someone who is a footballer and he has achieved things in his own right. And it seems that his father's shine, you know, he's been overshadowed by his father's office. And so maybe if you're having an interview, you're at media, and you expect to be referred to as Moriah Folabi Brown, host of Your View, but what you get is the daughter of, you know, never, every time they refer to you, never about your own accomplishment. I can understand how irritating that may be. But they say success has many friends. So your father is a good thing. Your father is in a respectable office. They call you by that. Imagine if it was an armed robber or a 419 and they keep referring you to, you know, to that name. I can understand why you say, please, this is who I am. I have separated myself from this person. I have carried myself with integrity. And so put that aside. But it's always good to give adults their due respect, which is address them by their names. But we also know of children that want to be addressed by their father's name by force, by fire. When you call them by their name, they will remind you who their fathers are, who their mothers are, who their uncle is, or their cousin of their cousin is. So I guess it depends on who you are.
So imagine Dangote's daughter. Yeah, please, Dangote's daughter.
Yes. If you were Dangote's daughter, you would still not want them to be calling you Dangote's daughter. You have made a name for yourself. So most times, people who want to take on a name, like you must see me as my father's son or my father's daughter, is because they have not found their own identity. They are not strong in their own identity. When you are strong in your own identity, it is natural for you to want people to recognize you for the hard work that you have put in. It's also something I do not like because I feel society has a way of attaching only to the big success, not giving room for other people to grow. So your father has made a name somewhere and everybody just wants to attach you and attach everybody around how many circumference to that big success, not giving room for people who are striving to be their own person, to be who they are. So for me, do not call me by any other person's name. Call me by my name. If tomorrow I do anything, let me take responsibility. Don't attach me. Because sometimes what we see is because of the attachment, people are not left to live how they want to live. Let me not do what that they will say, so that they won't say that is this person's father. And even they put a lot of pressure on the children. So if you see very successful people who have made names, raising children, you see them, you don't bring embarrassment to the family name. Don't do this. You know whose son you are. You know this and that. And it doesn't give children the opportunity to explore. I remember there was a time this pastor's son came on the show. The one that just lost this, Aduke son, came on the show. And he was saying that he was put under a lot of pressure growing up because everybody just saw him as a pastor's son. You must not do this. You must not do that. You must be a certain way. And it was confusing to him, trying to find who he really was. So let us, acknowledge people for who they are. Forget about the father's name. This is Moriah now. We don't want to. The father has done, your father has done his, and he has gone. This is who you are. We should respect you enough to see the progress that you're making.
Two things.
That's me.
So you're building a name today.
Yeah.
And your children are likely to benefit because those names, the name that you're building today will open the door for your child in the future. That was Obiajunubu's child. you know what, because I know your mother was the biggest international, whatever, hair manufacturer, whatever, exporter, importer, you know, because I know that credibility, I'm going to invite you for a meeting. It opens the door for your child.
Yes.
So, are we therefore saying that, no, don't see me as Obiajilu's daughter, just see me as who I am?
No, when it opens the door, so the thing is...
No, you can't open the door. No. I'm not attaching. It can't open the door again, because you have dissociated myself.
Let's leave it, let's contextualize this. Of course, I'm born the Peking now. So the seeds I'm sowing today, even if I'm not alive to reap it tomorrow, it should go to my children because I'm sowing good seeds. So it's natural that it opens the door. But when you are relating to that person, after the door has been opened, please see that person you are relating to. That's my point.
So we are saying for that door to open, we must acknowledge the name. So there are people that, their name is Tope Johnson. Your father Johnson has the biggest name ever. You now put Tope Johnson Odige, so that people will remember that Johnson is your father, because that Johnson is going to open doors for you. Now, should we say we shouldn't put Johnson because Tope Makodigbe wants to make her own name? That's the question.
The question is, you're in a hurry. You're in a hurry to get that identity that you think the society must give to you.
Not must.
No, you want it. You are saying it's a must now.
Yes.
They will eventually.
It will come.
It will come. But never you, I think, well, me, I'm Muslim. I cannot stop being my father's daughter. I am Akashat, Akohia, it's Abema's granddaughter. I am not going to apologize to anybody for that. And whatever success I make is tied to the ascendance that I had. That's how it is. You're in a hurry. You are the footballer. A time will come. Nobody knows Ronaldo's father now. A time will come, they will not bother about that, who your father is. But you're now successful. You're a successful part of your father. Why are you saying they should not call you your father? You'll be a Papa Pekin. Leave that in. If you were an armed robber, you want to get plea, you'll be asking, am I no longer my father's daughter? My father has done something, he has built something. Now that you become a successful extension of your father, why do you want people to forget that part?
So you're saying that we should acknowledge and continue to attach ourselves to the name that father
extension
made
of your father.
So what if your father was a failure?
Not until it becomes a thing you can use. Let it still be the thing that you're attached to. That is not until you need to use it, but that is a description of you. Be proud about
what if your father was a failure?
Then choose not to use it.
If your father was a failure
and he was a nobody,
you are the successful extension of that failure.
So they should still use your father to judge you.
Not to judge you, to know you. You have become a better part of him. Wait, not to judge you, to know you.
Yes.
That failure had a child who became successful. What do you want to say because he has failed? He's no longer your father.
So when they want to call him, you understand my point?
They will call you your Papa Pekin. Are you going to change your surname?
No, me, I believe that
you've heard your point. Let me let the man jump in.
So I think you got, that's what I was trying to say. It gives context. When I started in the beginning, I said, calling your father's name or your family name gives context. So if your father is a successful person, it shows that success runs in their blood. Oh. Can you imagine DG's son, footballer now, and the one doctor? And then if it's a failure, you'll be like, this one came and he changed the story. So for me, I think it's just an annoying issue, not a do or die affair. It's just a little annoying. Look at me, now look at all the ball I've been playing. You guys, you don't see me. So especially with entertainers, athletes like this, because you're constantly, you see your mates, they are being given accolades based on what they have done. We have musicians. I remember YK's brother, Femi, when he first came out, it was tough. Now people kept constantly comparing him to Fela. He doesn't sound like his father. Oh, his father sang better. Oh, constantly until he was able to make a name for himself. And today, that Fela gave him a platform, but he has built on it and he has become Femi Kuti today. There are countries now in the world that he goes that is just his name that they call.
So are we telling this young man, Bichi, Yusuf, that accept that your father is DSS. It is part of who you are.
To be DGDSS.
You should be grateful that it's not an armed robber that is
So another thing is, if he's rejecting this name, he has a reason that he may not come out to say. People grow up differently and they see things that they don't want to replicate. Okay, you have your life, you've lived your life. Can you leave me alone now to move on and live my life? And if he says, I don't want it, they should respect him. He's a human being himself. He's a full-blown adult, and he can choose to be called by his own name. I think that should be respected. Some people have grown from families where they feel, it's not like they have done anything bad, though, but I just don't want to be associated with this sort of story. Let me go out there and find my way. Then I go out there and find my way, and now want to drag me back. What is it now? He's an adult. They should respect him. He doesn't want his father's name for whatever reason. They should call him by his own name. If tomorrow he changes his mind, it's okay, I'm now the son of the so and so. Call me by that. They should call him by the name. It shows respect. But to constantly have somebody in front of you and refer to that person as your father's this, your father's that, wait here for my name lost.
But in his own case, just to give a little, it's not his father's name that he's refusing. It's the office
of his father
that he's talking about. There's an office constantly calling me DG's son, President's son. You can call me by my, maybe call me by my younger son.
That's the office belongs to any Nigerian who takes that office now. Yes. Why do you want to attach the office to the son? Did you work for the office?
So really, that's really the conversation.
You know, Mariah, they'll refer to your children as Mariah's children, the host of.
So I'm saying, so as I said, we're all building our names right now, and our children at some point they will definitely refer to them as, oh, that's Nima Akasha Zibiri's daughter.
We have something that is our tradition in Africa. We do Oriki. That's what they call it in Yoruba. We call our identity up to the beginning of our ancestry. We identify with it. It's not something we joke with. That's being African. I don't want to talk about Islam because I do it a lot. But as Africans, you're part and parcel of wherever you're originating from. Their ways, what they did, their history and everything. And you just come and say, I'm not modern. I'm who I am. How you be? Who you be?
I wanted to also add, because you said something, I don't think it's wrong to bring up a child and say, this is the family that you come from. And even parents, even families that they do not have anything, they can say, in our family, we have integrity.
Yes,
this is the family that you came from, a family of integrity. So when you go out there, make sure that you push that, you are the ambassador for my family. I don't think it's a wrong way to raise a child.
No, it's not a wrong way to raise a child, but also give the child room to find another path. If, peradventure, the family path is not working for that child, the child doesn't have to conform with everything the family is doing because that child came from this family. Understand that individuals come with their own different packages and nurture your child in his package. That was my point there. You know the way we say, this tribe, you mentioned Edo and I say, hey, all Edo people, we know that they used to do so and so. All this one, you see how we reject that, excuse me, it's not every Edo person, or it's not every Delta person, or it's not, that's how it is.
All right, any messages that we can wrap up?
Bilkis says, if I want to tweak this convo, I will remind us that we have gender preference. The man carrying on his family's name. I have chosen my surname against my married name on social media for personal reasons. Emu says it's even more common in West for people to attach their name to their children. However, it depends on how they use it. Cole Williams says, what is the world turning into? What kind of values do we have now? Kai.
Okay, we have to wrap up. So just, I think, in a nutshell, your papa picking the next, regardless, but also allow people to find their own path. That's it. So before we run off, we just wanted to remind us on the contact for the Linus Okorie conference coming up. I think you call the number 08157919770 or go to gotv.africa.com to get more information. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.